They thought I would vanish, that I would return to Ghana with silence in my mouth. But the ancestors sang louder in the stillness. And silence gave birth to rhythm.
They withdrew. The band went quiet. I do think that's how the ancestors speak. In disappearance, in parting.
They thought my rhythm would die in the waiting, but memory is a drum.
Remember when you used to listen to the drum and know it? You are God. Remember when you used to listen to the drum and feel it? You are beautiful. You are wonderful. You are so special.
I used to think abandonment was failure. Now I know it's an unveiling. The ones who go quiet reveal what they never had to give. That silence, it showed me how to sing alone.
I am ready to admit, indeed I do admit, that there are many things to be changed. But in saying that, may I not also ask you to recognize that we are already on the right road and that enormous progress has been made in freeing colonial people from what may be called the colonialism of the 19th century?
We reaffirm our faith in fundamental human rights, in social progress and better standards of life, based on the principle of equal rights and self-determination of peoples.
Are they not already free? Do they not already enjoy the universal right to vote? Are they not already represented in local assemblies? I do not say that Algeria belongs to France. I say that Algeria is France. For over 100 years, Algeria has been united to France on an equal footing with the Ile-de-France, Brittany or Auvergne, such that any Algerian, whether Muslim or Christian, is a French citizen.
The attitude which the French appear to take is that since Algeria is a part of France, an Algerian is a Frenchman. We lived in India for many centuries as a dependency. We were called at one time British subjects. That was bad enough. But nobody dared to call us Englishmen or told us that we should call ourselves Englishmen. So to an Algerian, or to anybody who is not French, to be called a Frenchman is not a great honor, in our humble opinion.
What are the opponents of France doing? They're discussing the scope, validity, the wisdom of a number of French laws. And what laws are these? Some of the laws in question are over a century old. What you are actually doing is discussing a whole group of French constitutional laws. The French Constitution of 1875 and that of 1948 govern the relations between France and Algeria.
An attempt is made to erase a whole chapter in the history of the brilliant Muslim civilization. And we in the United Nations must accept with blind religious faith what the Constitution of the French Republic says. An attempt is being made to hoodwink this assembly over a century of military and political occupation of Algerian territory.
The Saudi Arabian delegate argues that Algeria was conquered and therefore the United Nations has the right to intervene in Algerian affairs. But Flanders, Burgundy, Aquitania and Roussillon, French provinces with French character no one dreams of disputing, were also conquered. If we were to assume a right to question all frontiers resulting from wars, there would no longer be any security for any state possessing such frontiers.
The United States of America has adopted a law in its Congress claiming that the Philippines and the noble people of the Philippines
There would be nothing in the future to stop.
There's no international question in which one country is entirely right and the other entirely wrong. The truth is quite otherwise. The first virtue of a politician who aspires to international politics is to try to understand. The second is moderation. There is nothing gained in international affairs by rushing headlong into extreme and exaggerated solutions. A true international policy is, I'm not ashamed to proclaim it, an international policy based on compromise. What then is to be done? The answer is simple. We must trust France. Now, does France deserve our trust? I was shocked indeed to hear it implied here that France is imperialistic, colonist, bloodthirsty, and cruel. I do not say that all the pages of French history are equally fine, but where is the country that has bestowed on mankind so many and such diverse benefits intellectual, scientific, and political. And before condemning such a people outright in thoughtless terms, the critics should pause and reflect upon the long tradition of a glorious past.
My delegation regrets to say that we have had no evidence that France deserves our trust. We have little confidence in any act of France with regard to Algeria, and it would do the United Nations no harm to ignore the appeal for justice by the Algerian people. Let us place their faith in the mercy of
The heart of Africa, in the jungle of the Belgian Congo. Here, the African elephants are used for labor just as their Indian brothers. We don't know what horsepower is represented in one elephant, but as a hauler, he's certainly worth his weight. With his slow, ponderous tread, he pulls a plough, a harrow, or any other agricultural implement with the ease of a tractor. He's the true colossus of the jungle, doing his work without fuss or hurry. Elephants are strangely contented animals, but when the day's work is over, they must have their bath. It's the one pleasure they wouldn't miss, for every day is Saturday night to them. The youngsters, too, soon learn the delights of the daily tub. One day they'll be hauling loads and ploughs for their diminutive master, man. And whilst he treats them kindly, the elephants will work for him.
A new chapter begins in the dark and tragic history of the Congo with the return to Leopoldville of deposed Premier Lumumba, following his capture by crack commandos of strongman Colonel Mobutu. Taken to Mobutu's headquarters past a jeering, threatening crowd, Lumumba was impassive at this lowest ebb of his stormy career. Mobutu watched as his troops manhandled Lumumba, but promised the pro-red Lumumba a fair trial on charges of inciting the army to rebellion. Lumumba was removed to an army prison outside the capital as his supporters in Stanleyville seized control of Oriental province and threatened a return of disorder. Before that, Lumumba suffered more indignities, including being forced to eat a speech, which he restated his claim to be the Congo's rightful premier. Even in bonds, Lumumba remains a dangerous prisoner, storm center of savage loyalties and equally savage opposition.
The West calls it communist propaganda when you stand with the oppressed. My queer community calls it drama, attention-seeking, doing the most. Mobutu sold his people to the West, know their names. The CIA, Belgium, France, the IMF, the World Bank. Butchered and battered, the Congolese were sacrificed on the altar of profit. The rebels that came after, not liberators, guardians of loot, keeping the land bloody and open for extraction, for empire, for the puppets that came after Mobutu. They told us it was an internal problem, but whose hands held the knives? They talk about Congo like it's cursed, like the soil chose to bleed for fun. But Congo bled for your iPhones, for your planes, for your cloud servers. They killed Lumumba because he wasn't scared of European shame. They used Congolese uranium to end World War II, but erased it from every classroom. Congo was not poor, it was pillaged. And they used culture, soft power, to distract us from the theft. You think what happened to me is personal? It's political. It's global. This is what happens when an artist starts remembering too much. They spy, they stall, they smile. And when that doesn't work, they try to own the story. But you can't own what doesn't want to be tamed. And you can't buy silence from someone who's already buried themselves and come back singing. the same. Who'll wait? How ways before? The songs survived without them. Without studio, without backup. Betrayal gave me tempo. So now I sing. Not to be heard, but to be found. By the ones who will know how to follow the current home.
What time is your is coming for her revenge. The earth will testify and swear by blood. The blood of their heroes fell like trees by the machetes of greed and unchallenged. You stood by and let the rich kill the innocent. You want to stop the better make me water in the bag. You that choose bribes over clean water wants everybody blood for blood. You stood by and let the rich kill the innocent. Water knows the way, water knows the way is coming for me and you. Water knows the way, water knows the way is coming for me and you. Water knows the way, water knows the way is coming for me and you. Water knows the way, water knows the way is coming for me and you.
Community is not always scared. Sometimes it's a crowd of closed ears. But I do not sing for applause. I sing because the ancestors still do.
Water knows the way, water knows the way is coming for me and you. Water knows the way, water knows the way is coming for me and you. Water knows the way,
Water knows the way.
the way is coming for me and you. Water knows the way,
Water knows the
water
way.
knows the way is coming for me and you.
And so do I.